bunch of people have asked us about stuff,
Yeah.
when it comes to postpartum depression and these kind of things.
Well,
So,
I think it's a really common question because
it's huge.
so
Yeah,
many times
absolutely.
women during pregnancy are trying to transition from one form of treatment to something far more natural. They're really concerned about baby's health,
Absolutely.
and
Yep.
they're wanting to be
You don't
able
want
to
to be on medicines. You don't want to be on
not even when they're
psychiatric,
breastfeeding.
whatever. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
and I know that there are a lot of medications that are deemed safe, but women are smarter than that.
Right,
we
wait
all
a second.
know a chemical's probably not the best thing to be pumping into our babies.
Yeah,
So
if there's something natural, most women are going to be really, geared towards that. You're going to want to do that. You
I
got
know
a
I
brand new
was.
little kid. Absolutely.
definitely I was.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the factors of postpartum. We just did a little brainstorm over our little campy breakfast this morning. Factors of postpartum. Mineral depletion is the number one factor,
Huge,
I
absolutely.
believe.
Oh, yeah.
And that includes the 3 B's. We've got baby building, blood loss, if you've had a rough delivery, and breastfeeding. So the 3 B's and an H.
Well, and if you haven't considered that first B in particular, that baby building, I mean, I think really it's just common sense. But, if you haven't really thought of that, think of what you've done over the last 9 months as that baby has been growing inside of you. It's been absolutely, literally sucking you dry of all of your minerals.
And that's later with the breastfeeding.
Well, that too. But think about the bones and everything that you're
Yeah.
building for that baby. It's got to get those minerals, those vitamins from somewhere, right? From the food you eat, from your own body. That's what happened.
That's right.
Right?
I built some awesome bones and brains
You
for,
did.
for
And-
4 humans, and it came out of what I had to offer, which was
Yeah.
well supplemented.
And I think what's interesting to me is, no matter how, how well or how healthy, the mother's body is, that baby is going to take precedence. Like it needs that nutrition to build its body.
That's right.
And so your body is going to use that in order to build that young little child.
That's right. That's absolutely true. So the H in our mineral depletion, we've got the 3 B's and the H is just for healing. And that's just rips and tears and sprains and strains and all the things that go in between.
Everything's been stretched out, aches, pains, whatever, right? Joints,
Yeah,
all that
muscle
stuff.
rebuilding, all of that,
Absolutely,
all
yeah.
the fun that comes with labor and delivery.
Absolutely.
No matter what your method of delivery was, there's damage and there needs to be
Right.
some rebuilding. So we're going to talk more about mineral depletion later. 3 other factors that we came up with for postpartum depression, and if you don't hear the one you're thinking of, post it for us and let us know how other factors have contributed to postpartum for you or for a loved one. We've got hormone imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Big one.
given. You're all over the
Absolutely.
charts with hormones before and after delivery. Digestive disruption is a really big one. Most women will experience chronic constipation with intermittent diarrhea throughout their 3rd trimester. And we know that that's hormone related. It's also physiological because things just aren't moving in the same places that they used to.
Well, exactly. And I remember, there's certain foods even that only like you could eat during pregnancy and stuff like that, right? Like so.
Yeah, I had a pretty limited diet because I
I think it was watermelon maybe, and that was about it for
Well, I was a
months
barfer.
and months.
I was a
but
barfer for many months. Yes, and
everything else just made you nauseous and feel horrible, right? So anyway,
Yeah,
digestive
and then-
imbalance is whatever.
yeah, it was just rough. And I did it 4 times because for the love of mankind, we make good babies.
Yeah, we have
So-
2 kids, so yeah,
Yeah.
it was worth it.
Yes, antibiotics were probably my biggest problem for digestive disruption.
Yeah.
So I have a pre-existing condition which created premature labor, and I know that women who are going into premature labor will often be given a dose of antibiotics, also steroids, things like that,
Yep, absolutely.
to develop baby lungs. But if you take a strep test or they discover that you have some sort of a bacterial thing going on right before baby's born, they'll give you a shot of antibiotics. And then a lot of times, when women are having difficult labors and deliveries, sometimes there's antibiotics administered afterward in pretty good doses.
Yep, absolutely. That's very common, actually.
Yep.
And of course, we know antibiotics, life-saving, of course, all those things, but also good gut bacteria destroying. Like
Yeah.
absolutely destroying it,
Yeah.
right? And therefore compromising digestion even more.
That's right. Necessary for sustaining life sometimes a little bit of
Yeah,
wreckage.
can also
Yeah,
wreck you for a
stripping
little while.
that gut.
Absolutely.
So we'll talk about that. So actually, let's talk about that one there. What does somebody do when they have digestive disruption? Do we have anything that can help with
Oh man,
that?
so we have an amazing product, and if you haven't learned about that yet, or found it, or tried it, or whatever, it's called Prosper, and we have 2 different forms of it. One is the Prosper with the actual lightning with it as well, which is an amazing product, and the cucumber lime flavor, super delicious. And then there's just a standalone Prosper, which is the watermelon flavor. And what it does, and this is why it's unique, it's kind of...
So
you've heard of
standalone
probiotics
meaning
before,
what?
Meaning it's just the probiotic. In a
So
delicious
there's
flavor
no
or whatever.
Empower Plus mineral formula
In the
watermelon flavor.
Right, and so you just have to
Take
kind of look
note.
when you're...
That's
when you're,
confusing sometimes.
it is confusing. So when you're shopping and you look at that, just make sure you understand what the product description is. But back to the Prosper and why it's so amazing. It's kind of in a spore format, which is kind of unique for a probiotic, right? There's no live bacteria in that sense. And so it waits until it gets into your intestine before it actually flourishes and starts to grow. And that's super important. And then those good bacteria flourish like crazy in the gut. And there's studies to back that up to show that that's how our Prosper works in the body. And it is super, super effective. And of course, good gut bacteria, you're going to help replenish those things that were stripped with the antibiotics. Your nutrient absorption is going to go way up. So things like the Empower Plus and everything, when you have a good, healthy gut bacteria.
Okay, so recap on digestive disorder postpartum. The recommendation is cucumber lime Prosper because it also has the mineral complex. So taking the Empower Plus formulation in conjunction with the Empower Plus formulation is still going to be absorbing in the mouth and in the cheeks.
Right.
And then when you swallow it down, those spores for the probiotic and the prebiotic go down.
There's digestive enzymes in there and everything too. Yep.
They get into your gut and help sort out that mess. So okay,
Super great product.
Fourth factor for postpartum depression is just straight up exhaustion. And we oh my goodness. Okay, so I remember trying to sleep when baby was sleeping when I had 2 toddlers also.
Yeah,
what were we thinking? We were just trying to catch up.
I don't even remember.
I did. I slept a lot. I think I fell asleep while I was breastfeeding once, and when I woke up,
let's just face it, nobody sleeps.
when I woke up, toddler number 1 had practically shaved toddler number 2's hair off with a little pair of Crayola scissors, the safe ones that I had tried to hide, and I guess I missed a pair.
And I don't know where I was. I guess I was sleeping too.
I think you were at work. Anyway.
It still happens, right? Yes.
Exhaustion.
Exhaustion.
Yeah, so exhaustion, pre-existing conditions including diabetes, thyroid, POTS, and all sorts of other things, autoimmune things, whatever else you've got going on, will be exacerbated during pregnancy, and you can fully expect to have a long, sleepy recovery.
And that's okay. Obviously your body needs to sleep to recover. And so all of that stuff is important.
I think we need to cut ourselves a little bit of slack. I know it's not always possible for young moms to be sleeping, but maybe as a culture and a society, we could just lean in and be a little more supportive of that healing time, because it is a necessary thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely necessary. Yeah. So of all of these, what can we actually help with most?
And that's the thing. We talked about, the probiotics, of course, with the antibiotic thing, but especially with what we have with Empower Plus and the Lightning, we can help with mineral depletion, which is what happens.
You don't always have control over those other factors. You're going to be tired. You're going to have digestive problems. You will have a hormone reset.
Absolutely.
But you can control what you're putting in your mouth.
Definitely.
That is something you can control.
Right.
And so mineral depletion is a big one to address.
Is huge, and we can provide with Empower Plus the sufficiency that your body needs to rebuild those supplies.
Yeah,
and you might need to take a little bit more.
So for the 3 B's, for having built a baby body, for breastfeeding, and for, what was my third one? Oh, blood loss. Yeah. For rebuilding yourself that way, Empower Plus is a huge factor in that, getting those cofactors back into the body,
in the proper amounts,
rebuilding your storage. Yep. Yeah. And so for that, if it was my daughter that I was talking to, I'd be saying, take 4 capsules with your breakfast in the morning to make sure that you're getting a larger dose of material, with the hope that it's going to absorb and stick, and chances are it will. Chances are, because Empower Plus is made to be incredibly digestible. And then I'd be taking a couple of lightning sticks, maybe 2 or 3.
I think
throughout, and do that for several weeks.
Yeah.
Like, just plan to just kind of like douse yourself in goodness and bathe yourself in nutrition, right?
Absolutely.
From the inside.
Absolutely. And yes, it's going to cost a little bit more initially, but it'll absolutely help you recover quickly.
Well,
There's just no question about it. And
the cost of a crippling postpartum, it costs a lot more than that.
Worse, yeah. And think of what you're doing also. If you're breastfeeding, whatever, all of those nutrients obviously are getting into the baby as well. And so that's huge. That's super, super important. And we have lots of people that report, the breastfeeding thing, and taking Empower Plus while they're pregnant The babies just seem to be healthier. They're more lively, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? And it's true. No matter how many times we hear it, it's what we hear.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing.
I've actually got a chance to participate when we lived in Canada in kind of a preliminary study where they had a whole bunch of women who had had babies before the Empower Plus era, and then
After.
more babies after they
Yeah.
started taking Empower Plus, and comparing APGAR scores and birth experiences and postpartum experiences. And hands down, people did better, moms and babies. And
Like universally,
I was
right? It was
fascinated by that.
pretty amazing. Every
room of
single
women.
case was like, what?
yeah, all
Pretty
considered
amazing.
anecdotal because like
Wasn't
we
an
weren't making
official
reports
study
in the
that
moment,
sense.
but taking a look back at our medical charts and the things our doctors recorded and everything else, it's enough for me. It's enough for me to
Right.
believe that my 3 pregnancies after were better than the first one.
And it makes sense. I mean, doctors always recommend a prenatal vitamin. They know, right? The folate, everything else, your body needs it, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And basically, that's what Empower Plus is. It's just an amazing, prenatal vitamin. Probably
Yeah.
the best you can get. In
And
fact,
they
we've
can,
had,
we can get into that discussion more when they go back and take a look at the other one.
yes. But I'll just say really quickly, in most cases, if you bring it to your doctor, you're pregnant, and you take this and you say, hey, is this okay to take? He's going to look at it and be like, yeah, go for it, kind of thing, right? Almost always that's the case because
Yeah.
it's awesome. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
back to what we were talking
So,
about.
and actually, so that takes us to the BMD, because
Oh,
that's
yes,
something that
yeah.
we would be recommending for women who are pregnant, getting that additional,
Yeah.
extremely balanced and absorbable calcium complex
Yep.
into their body, because you are building bones.
And especially
And the
after you're
native
pregnant
calcium.
too. Yeah, you're building those bones. So the calcium product, in case you're not aware, it's called, I don't know what we actually, that's terrible, but it's, because I'm trying to think of what True Hope calls it. It's a bone mineral densifier. And I know
Or
that-
bone mineral developer or something.
yeah,
BMD.
something like that. But that's what we call it. So, but it's a calcium magnesium product. And the thing that's really unique about that and important to understand and remember is that the balance, the ratios, the quantities between, the calcium, magnesium, the boron, the vitamin D, that's all in that calcium product, dovetails perfectly with Empower Plus and Lightning.
Well, it was designed to go with it and not
Exactly.
throw off the balance
You're
of the
not
other
throwing it off, you're
micronutrients.
only adding to it. And in so many cases, and especially what we're talking about right now, people need that extra calcium, they need extra magnesium, and that is an amazing product. And so what do we recommend? Probably at least what's on the bottle. I think, four or 8 capsules a day?
Yeah, I think I was
Maybe
probably
more.
taking closer to 8 during my pregnancies.
And afterwards, because you're replenishing
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
everything. What an amazing product. And maybe we don't talk about that enough, but it is truly incredible, and especially when we're talking
Well, I
about
think it's just important to realize that young girls who are going through all of their developmental years, where they're just suddenly growing quickly, and I think young boys, when they are suddenly doing that growth
absolutely.
spurt,
Bones,
and they're
everything,
building
like,
bone
oh my goodness, yeah.
like by the mile, and then women during childbearing years, and then also menopausal women who will not absorb nutrition in the same way because of a lack of certain hormones.
Right.
Also need a boost in that calcium complex.
Definitely. So it's a huge product to take a look at, especially, again, pregnancy, postpartum, do it.
And
Absolutely.
it's cheap and it's perfectly balanced.
It is, and it'll last a while. And then the other one, too, we recommend is what? The
Aminos, because
the
we're talking
aminos,
about the
yeah.
3 Bs, and then we need to talk about the healing part and actually having the ingredients to rebuild tissue and muscle and all of the things that have been stretched and pushed around a lot during
Yes.
pregnancy and labor and delivery.
Yep, and aminos will help with that. And of course, aminos help with building, they play on the minerals that you're taking as well, and the vitamins. You need amino acids in order for those vitamins and minerals to work properly anyways. And again, if you've been depleted, you're breastfeeding, you're all these things, amino acids are going to become super important to take on a regular basis. So we recommend, at least 8 probably a day, 4 and 4 a day, in recovery and before and while you're pregnant, taking amino acids, just making sure you have a sufficient supply of those every single day.
Okay, so all you new moms, bathe yourself
Good nutrition.
in good nutrition from the inside out.
Yep.
And give yourself a fighting chance. We know you're tired. We know you've been beat up. We know that you've had highs and lows with hormones. You're elated and happy with your brand new little baby. And we just want you to be the best mom that you can be and just stay level and sane
Absolutely.
through a really hard time.
We
You
all
can
know
do this.
it's hard enough when you've got a brand
Oh,
new baby.
gosh, yeah.
And especially if you've got more than, you've got toddlers and stuff too, and then you had a brand new baby on top of that. Yeah,
Yep.
That's a lot. It really, really is. So do yourself a favor and really make sure that you have the proper amount of nutrition, the best that you can every single day.
Absolutely.
And really, we have everything that we offer that can provide that for someone.
Yep.
It's truly amazing.
It's
So
been a blessing for us.
check it
been
out.
good.
Empower Plus, Lightning, Aminos. bone mineral, BMD, whatever. Calcium, magnesium. I really should learn the name of it.
It's
terrible,
so
right?
bad. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed. I don't know either.
It's a great product.
You know, the
Trust
big white
me,
horse
but
pill. You know what? We're going to get screenshots of those
And we'll
those
put 'em up
products with
there.
their labels, and we'll
Absolutely.
post them in comments
We're used
below.
to our True Hope days for the last 25 years.
Yeah,
so, you
we've
know,
been trained in
it's the same
a
product,
different
same
language.
wonderful thing. But anyways.
Okay, enough.
All right, everyone. We will talk to you again on another day, another
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday. We love this. Thank you all for being with us. And yeah, check out your Facebook page.
Yeah, feel
and
better
Magic
with
Product
Autumn
Nutrients.
Stringham if you're looking for some added support for women on the mend. And Magic of Micronutrients, where
Talk
we're
about this kind of stuff.
better stuff to come on there. We're going to get some stuff
Absolutely.
going for education.
All right, you guys, take care. We'll see you all later.
Okay.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.